Okie dokies, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the IEM Sao Paulo qualifier. We do have Mr. mouzHasu going to be spawning down in the southern position here as the yellow Protoss. And up to the east, we do have Mr. Goody going to be spawning here as the purple Terran. He does like his purple, so we will have a TVP here, going to be kicking things off for this best of 3 on Antigua Shipyard. Now, again, we saw Hasu open against Terran for Mr. Funke, the mana of the... I was going to say the mana of brother. The brother of mana. Taking a very, very convincing 2-0 and opening, well, kind of closing that series on this map. So we know, to a certain degree, how potentially Mr. Hasu will play in this game. But again, you know, it's always that kind of High Templar hijinks that does come out with mana. It's not... You know, a lot of Protoss in this matchup are just thinking, well, I sure better get to Colossus quickly, otherwise I'm going to be screwed once that bio comes along. God, that's going to suck. But Mr. Mana just really going... Sorry, Mr. Hasu. We're just going for a lot of really, really Templar style, you know, kind of centric play, and it really, really does pay dividends. It's awesome to watch. Murder SC2, Jade Pop is only trolling, don't worry about it. But thank you for your concern, do appreciate it. So, meanwhile, we do have a Z-Panzer General going to be spawning up here, and he will probably end up showing us some mech play in this best of 3 eventually. And let's see what does happen. Looks like he gets in with this probe. No wall off at the beginning to be able to deny this kind of probe from getting in here. Sees no gas, guys. This probably will assume a 1-Rax expand. Mr. Goody more than happy to be showing his opponent that, as 1-Rax expand can be very, very predominant in this matchup. Looks to get a little bit of a block off here. Hopefully going to maybe even throw down a pylon. I mean, it's not something you two see too much in this matchup in PvT, but assuming what he's already scouted, there's no reason to not think he's actually going to go for this kind of play. But then again, you know, I suppose you can just make it next to it and lift it up, so I guess that wouldn't delay too much. So for now, we do have Marine going to be coming out, just kill off that probe. We have the cybernetics core on the way for Mr. Hasu. Again, another pylon situated in a nice position to be able to kind of catch any Reapers that do hop, skip and a jump up this territory here. And Mr. Hasu, for now, will be going for what looks like a standard play. Again, once again, as I say, very, very indicative of Hasu play. Taking those guys off gas to be able to get that Nexus out all the quicker. What do we have going on? Looks like... Ooh, I thought he was going to be able to block that off, but Mineral Walking will prevent that from being blocked. And SCV trying to block this expansion, but it's not even actually going for an expansion just yet. Actually, that could have potentially been really clever of Hasu. He could have faked that out, actually. He could have faked that he was going for an expansion and go for some 3-gate pressure, but he's just going to go for that expansion anyway, as he does know his opponent is going to be going for an expansion behind this. No reason to fall behind in this matchup. So let's see. Second barracks going to be going down for Goody. Double assimilators refineries going down here, and Mr. Goody, meanwhile, just kind of bolstering his defenses at the front. Hasu going to poke up ever so slightly, but I'm going to be able to do a ton of damage with this. Another stalker is rendezvousing, and ooh, almost gets a kill, but does not get one. This zealot going to be pushing up, trying to get a little bit of scouting information, and for now sees pretty much everything going on. Kylaris, why you not know that Goody plays Bio TVP? Because sometimes he doesn't play Bio TVP. He plays mech sometimes. I guess, you know, he plays mech on kind of more mech-orientated maps, which is fine. And on this map, per se, is more common that he will go Bio, yes. It's more common on Shakuras that he will go mech and things like that. But yes, you are indeed correct. He does go Bio in this matchup a lot of the time. What do we have going on? Mr. Hasu throwing down a few more gateways. Robo on the way as well, so he will be taking up very, very quickly here. As we do have double tech lab actually going down relatively quickly. Going to be going for extremely fast combat shields and stim, or even the concussive shells as well as those marauders. And for now, let's see income tab. Not much going on right now, gotta say. Income tab does show that Mr. Goody is ever so slightly ahead. Unit counting station, though, shows that, you know, the probes and the SCVs are not too far from one another. Mr. Hasu needs to get himself a little bit further ahead in terms of the probe count. As I say, going up against a Terran that does have mules can be quite annoying. Stim is on the way. These Stalkers being pesky. I think if he knew that there were Marauders in this composition right now, he wouldn't be too over-eager with these Stalkers. These Stalkers may end up getting caught out of position, and indeed they will. Concussive shells go down. I'm surprised, actually, that Goody didn't focus down both of the Stalkers with those concussive shells. He does have the 2 Marauders. No reason not to slow both of those and get a nice double kill off. It's a little bit more micro-intensive, but not to worry. So we already have the force fields out for mouzHasu. We'll potentially be able to deny this quite easily. That's not too big a bioforce. Not going to be timing this out with any upgrades either, so just a bit of a kind of a scary poke, like, hey, I'm over here, do something about it, make some defense, haha, I'm going to come kill you. So, for all intents and purposes, Goody could have forced out some force fields there, which would have been fantastic, and a victory for Goody, huzzah. But for that, he didn't. We do have this observer going to be sharking around, seeing everything that's going on. Engineering bay is going down, although we already have the forge as well as the robo bay going down. Oh my, what? Wow, that is a very, very fast third here from Mr. Goody. I am so surprised by that. At the same time, though, you know, he's got to assume his opponent was playing ever so slightly defensive. I'm wondering how many of those sentries he actually saw when he moved up there. Nice scan with that. Will be able to kill off that observer. Very, very nice indeed. A few more barracks going to be going down here for Mr. Goody. Does have +1 weapons on the way, and it's always super important to start that +1 weapons as quickly as possible as Terran, because once that +1 armor does kick off for Protoss, it can be very, very annoying to be able to deal with, especially if they do get that good Guardian Shield coverage. I've got to say that time and time again. Once that Guardian Shield gets nice coverage on those Zealots, the Marines and Marauders are just so ineffective against it. It's so irritating for the Terran. And a lot of Terrans that I know have been complaining. At the GM level even, have been complaining, what do you do against like a ton of Zealots with charge? Because it can be extremely, extremely difficult to deal with. So, anyway, do have Colossus on the way as well as range. A few more gateways going to be going down. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see Hasu go for charge again. It's becoming so useful in this matchup. Forward piling going to be going down. Is he going to throw down an expansion? I wonder if he's seen his opponent's third. No, he has not yet. So you will need to scout that. It looks like the observer is heading over there. Looks like he will be breaking down these rocks as well. Looks like mouzHasu did want to establish a third, but will not have any chance to at all. There's Goody breaking down these rocks here. Will be able to punish that if he so desires to actually expand there. Observer did indeed see that expansion. And it looks like mouzHasu going to be pushing it into a defensive position. Have another pylon going down. He did kill us pylon off, and will go home. He knows his opponent has scouted him out ever so slightly, so indeed he do. So we have Starport on the way. Ever so slightly, kind of a later Starport than usual for Mr. Goody here. 12-minute mark. You normally see that a little bit earlier, especially considering Hasu could potentially threaten with ranged Colossus. And actually, well, I was going to say threatens with ranged Colossus, but there's not a whole lot to be able to defend this Colossus anyway. That's a huge bioforce. He needs good force fields, otherwise this entire arm is going to die. Nice force fields will split that off. Second Colossus rendezvous. That is exactly what he needed. Oh, look at that, catching so much of that bio in that small corner. That is absolutely brutal, and all that bio will end up dying off. Lovely force field so far by Hasu. Will he be able to finish it off? Nice snipe on that initial Colossus, but at the same time the bio has absolutely melted. Those two Colossus really doing the damage required, and this is exactly what I meant by that initial kind of later starport. It can be very dicey to go for that because so many Protoss are rushing for this Colossus tech, and if they see that Euro don't have any kind of starport tech, they can really, really punish with that thermal lance. So now all the SCVs coming off the line. The two initial Vikings do pop, so he may be able to defend this just barely, as the Colossus will end up falling. Only ground units now against SCVs and a few bio, as long as some Vikings. Nice splitting up of these Zealots, though. Will be able to kill off a few SCVs in this third. And for now, he will have to flee home. Needs to focus down these Vikings, though, as he doesn't want to lose another Colossus. Oh, dear me, those... Oh, no, that is an absolute meat grinder. So many SCVs dying right now. 26 workers killed to 1 worker killed. 53 probes to 38. Hasu playing absolutely fantastically. Behind this, getting an expansion. Thank you very much, guys, for hitting the 1,000 mark on the viewers. Do appreciate that. This is just kind of a last-minute thing, and everyone's here. Thank you. Yeah, you're cool. Okay, so mouzHasu really putting on the pressure. Looks like Goody is actually going to relocate. Not so sure he should be doing that, as mouzHasu is going to keep all these avenues scouted out with this Zealot. We'll go home for now. In Cubtab right now, Duty Mules shows... What? No. Oh, I see why. No, he's transferring. I was going to say, that would have been absolutely ridiculous after saying, oh, he's killed 28 probes, and then he's like, he was that far ahead in terms of economy, but it's just because of that transfer. Do not read into that at all. That would have been horrible. Oh no, we'll be able to kill off a command center. That is brutal for Goody. Any kind of hopes of getting back into this game may have just been tarnished due to the fact that he's just about to burn down. Right now, Hasu doing a great job of keeping an eye on his opponent's army, sees how many Vikings are on the way, and has to know that more are on the way. So look at this smartly. Going to be transferring his production into Immortals. Very, very strong indeed. +1 armor going down, as well as that charge that we said before. Always super, super important in this matchup. Gonna be able to push him once again. Guardian shields do go down, getting amazing coverage on all of these Zealots and in the entire army, trying to stim around with a few of these units, but it's not going to be enough. He does take out one of the Colossus, but he's not going to be able to take out the rest of this army. The second Colossus still remains. Too much ground army here for Hasu, and Goody is going to have to fall back and retreat to his reinforcements once again. Looks like Mr. Hasu wants to push up here to see if there is a third, but indeed there is not. And not enough Vikings to be able to kill off that Colossus. That one Colossus taking out so much of this bio, weakened, and ultimately Goody has had no medevacs this entire game, so it's really, really hurt him. He hasn't been able to increase the longevity of his bio whatsoever, and by the time he had to deal with the Colossus threat, he had to invest in Vikings, so he couldn't make the medevacs. So we'll be able to reinforce once again with so many Zealots. Mr. Goody is so up against the ropes. Hasu, meanwhile, though, has been macroing quite nicely back home. Although, that being said, you know, he actually has quite a surplus of gas. I'm quite surprised at those ratios of gas to minerals. So we do have a second Colossus on the way, +2 armor and weapons on the way as well. Ah, okay. So he's getting quite a few. He's getting Immortals and Colossus, kind of staggering the production here, and getting a few Archons out as well with that Templar Archives that he did morph in. So for now, mouzHasu doing a great job of spotting everything with these units, throwing down a prox pylon as well. And again, this observer here has been a hero of this match. He knows exactly when to pressure Goody. He knows exactly when to, because he just knows exactly how many units he has all game long. Looks like he's going to try and spot if his opponent is going for a third again. Perfect timing after seeing that SCV moving out across the map. And now we have some medevacs out, but again, it's just too little too late by the looks of things. mouzHasu is going to be able to defend this base quite nicely. Very, very heavily saturated. He could quite easily expand once again here, as his army is so, so strong. How much does he see of this? Right now, he did see an Archon, so technically, if the Terran were in a good position, he would need to transfer into Ghosts in order to be able to try and deal with that. Oh, Storms on the way as well. This is the big problem for Goody. I don't think... Okay, he has a surplus of gas saved up, but I don't think he has the production necessary to be able to invest his gas into all these places that he needs to, so this is going to be really, really difficult for him. Pushing in with a huge amount of AoE right now. These Archons going to be able to soak up a lot of damage. Charge pushes in as well, and against this bio, nice kiting though by Goody, will be able to deal with quite a lot of this, and due to the fact that a lot of this doesn't have that much range, he's actually doing more damage than I assumed he would. At the same time, the Immortals rendezvousing from the back. That is not enough Marauders to be able to deal with this. Goody, oh, you're so up against the ropes. Hasu is playing phenomenally, but Goody holding on for dear life. A lone Zealot did kill off the SCV, creating this command center. It looks like Hasu has had enough. He is going to be pushing in, and GG for Game 1, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to go to Game 2 of this round 3 of the IEM Sao Paulo qualifier in just a second.